An oft-reiterated belief is that the creative process is like a possession. Whether by demons, gods, and inner madness, the creative, whatever their field, is motivated by a powerful enough inspiration that moves through the artist. Their creation yearns to exist so strongly that the creative is moved compulsively to make it so. Or, as my brilliant playwright of a partner would tell you, the creative process is like having a bowel movement. The Magic Circle is a 2015 game about making games, or rather, it's about what we do when we can't make them. You can be forgiven if you've never heard of this game. I discovered myself after researching what else the Bioshock 2's writer Jordan Thomas has worked on, and oh, hey wait, is that Rusty Venture?
Hold please. So, who are you? A new playtester? Well, let me save you some time. Today, I push the buttons.
It is. It's James Urbanek.
20 years, Maze. 20 years I've wasted writing about the almighty player. But who is the player anyway? They're like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Genocide. They demand a world full of deep, compelling characters, yet at any time, they reserve the right to turn said people into piles of gently glowing ash. Well, what possible story could survive these conditions?
It's a murder mystery now? Everyone's dead. Who could do such a thing? Oh yeah, me.
Look! Look at our hero! A lonely mute who can't even lower their killing hand. Matricide is just how they say hi.
Your story needs Mom to live, so I have to cut all weapons out of the game? Negative. Fire me.
Never.
Sorry, bro. Long story. No choice.
Meet our two principal characters, Ishmael Gilder and Maze Evelyn, a pair of developers who have been at this far longer than they ought to. Immediately, Ish's contempt for the player jumps out to me as misguided. Is it really the player's fault if their only verb for interacting with the world is violence? Or that the NPC they would call Mother does not compel sympathy?
Now, we don't have any animations yet, but I can make do. Hero. The demoness, Ava Nadir, has stolen my ring. She alone now commands life and death. Something.
Ish. The company is broke. The last kickbacker campaign raised less money than that joke fund demanding to have you caned by the state.
That was you trying to get fired.
They bicker like an old married couple in desperate need of a divorce. Were they happy once? Also, I should mention it's unusual to have the devs active in the same instance of a game as the QA tester. This conversation would usually have been had over email or a Slack channel. This could be an abstraction for the player's benefit, unless this game is run on a server intended for multiplayer.
Scape, I don't know which of your artists did it, but putting the elementary lock way above the door means that like 110% of testers just spin in place clutching their keys, looking for a hole, and cursing the game's designers. I have news for you. All the glorious detail you put into treetops, vaulted ceilings, not a mortal soul has ever seen them. Repeat after me. The player never, ever looks up. Fix it.
It's an old adage that the player never looks up, originating from the difficulty in doing so on controllers. But just previously, we looked up. The game gave us a reason to with the giant eyeballs. I think we are dealing with a theme here of developers complaining about player behaviors that they themselves have control over. Shortcuts like this are pretty common in development. I use them myself when I'm stuck on a critical blocker and want to work on what's behind it, returning once I have more insight. But it's a bad sign, a really bad sign, if your QA testers come across such shortcuts.
And then, 8 to 12 hours later, rah, I am Ava Nadir. Then we release the Hellhounds. Oh, wait, but we just cut combat, so,
We? Oh no. I'm deleting the endgame bridge so the team knows we're blocked by your decision. I want to ship this thing. That's the contract I signed. You stole 10 years of my life. Yeah, I designed that fight to be hard, not unwinnable. But with no weapons, it might as well be a, cutscene. Thanks, Ish. But there's a bug I haven't fixed. Your body was erased, but it hangs around, taking up memory. You can still move if you want to finish testing.
This idea of ghost assets fascinates me because when an asset in an engine is deleted, it's gone for good. I might sometimes just disable it instead, in case I need it later and I don't want to fiddle with its settings. This is a bad habit. Don't do this. It's sloppy. My code is full of unused functions hiding behind comments. That being said, it's really cool as a game mechanic. I wish we got more of it. Up ahead, we'll see the game's credits. It's typically a bad sign when a principal figure lists each of their roles individually, especially since he doesn't know the names of the rest of the team. Like with all circles, we begin again where we ended. And here, I would like to explain why I'm talking about this game in the first place. You see, I too am a game developer. I've been working on my own game for a few years now. I hope to show it to you all, but I'm just not ready yet. As such, this game is perfect for me, and really just me. I think the reason it never took off is because the intended audience was other developers, people inside the industry. So I want to unpack this game for you, let you in on the joke, go over the mistakes the characters make, and talk about how we can do better. I won't be going over the game exhaustively. My hope is that I can encourage you to check out the game for yourself when we're done, now able to see it through the eyes of a developer.
The gods of this world don't know you, boss, but they're scared of what you might do. They have to treat you like some reptile with a credit card who can't stay awake without watching something die. But we both know you can quit this world at any time. I can't. I'm trapped here, and I need your help. Hope that's enough.
The old pro, as the credits call him, might be a familiar voice if you remember Garrett from the Thief games, Corvo from Dishonored, or Nick Valentine from Fallout 4. And he retains that same charming cynicism of his other roles. But instead of a gumshoe, he is closer to a stage manager, someone integral to a creative endeavor, but is not granted creative privileges, who is only spoken of when things go wrong, but only a complete moron would seek to spurn.
Welcome back. By now, you can see that the gods will never finish this world, boss. Hell, they can't even decide on the color of the sky. To fix it, we gotta start by breaking you. When the gods screw up in the act of creation, that life ends up in the cracks. This is one such crack.
What the old pro calls life, we will collect, and use to reinstate destroyed objects. I think it might be technical debt, an accumulation of bad practices that are consuming processing power. We are cleaning out cobwebs to make way for new processes.
Hey, Scape. Do we really want people climbing all over this rock? Testers can't resist the admittedly cool tree root ladder you've made here. Maybe we should remove it? Hate to tell you how to do your job, but it's pretty distracting.
You got me, Errick. This ladder is cool. But might it be better to use it instead of removing it? Put a secret up here. The old pro talks about gods and creation like a mythology. He isn't a developer. He doesn't understand code. It's all magic to him, but not magic wielded wisely.
Before the gods made the world, everything looked like that. Just a big circle of nothing. The trick is to stare into it and see anything else. Now, when you make your own circle, it's like ripping a black hole in theirs. Trap something inside, and it ain't never the same again. Good. Now, if you see something that looks kinda ghostified, it means the gods unmade it. It takes life to bring it back.
And now we meet Coda, a young, energetic intern who is impassioned by the Magic Circle's legacy, and is a major figure in the fan community, in some ways, acting as a stand-in for the fandom itself.
Hold. Okay, intern. Ish trusts you. Your new job is to convince him that you should build our big gameplay demo. First, convince me.
I'm nervous. Your work is sort of the great love of my life. But speaking of Starfather, see this rando down here? Pretend this is Ish. Do I score any points with you if I just...
Her, Maze, and Ishmael are our 3 primary developers. She rounds out our 2 older devs who have already made a lifetime of mistakes.
So, I had to delete the bridge. Sorry, Errick, but Ish decided it was a bit too advanced for the primitives in this area. I know it breaks connectivity, but since you guys haven't actually implemented any quests in here, I figured it's not a big deal. If it's a problem, we can put a giant pink brick or something until we have a properly primitive bridge. What do you think that means? Sticks? Whatever, let me know.
Scape here is another victim of bad practices. Ideally, developers should begin by writing a design document, laying out their entire vision in paper before ever touching code. This, of course, would include their artistic vision. Likewise, Scape would have been expected to provide concept art, to be okayed long before rendering an engine. This whole project is a mess down to its foundation.
Good, you found a way inside that monster's head. And like all the gods' ideas, he's only half a joke. All punchline, no setup. Think you can finish it?
So, this editing menu might look intimidating, and yet, at the same time, this is not even close to programming. But it is close to an inspector menu, a series of drop-down menus that the developer can use to change preset parameters without needing to touch the code again. This is, after all, a game about game development, not programming. We have Zachtronics games, if that is more your speed. Anyways, we reprogram this ugly dog to be our ugly dog.
See?
And we reprogram this mushroom lamp to be our mushroom lamp. The old pro has left some audio logs from the devs for us.
Coda, do you think I'm too old to use a search engine?
Sir?
I was too quick to trust you.
Greetings, streamers. After this latest delay, all I can say is Ishgilder is no longer the Starfather I once worshipped.
Wait! That is the passion of a fan. Maybe the fan. In my family, it's a toss-up who has the more anticipated sequel. You or Jesus.
Coda, it's just a game.
Not to me.
Correct answer. Correct. Now sit here, read through the entire script, and then render unto me some piercing insights. Or you can start another stream with this. Greetings, streamers. Just got fired by a has-been god.
Ishmael is using his status as an artistic visionary to leverage Coda towards becoming more fanatical. This is how cults form, and leaves me concerned. We enter a spooky forest, and the old pro explains the reason nothing gets done around here.
I guess you were supposed to live out a fairy tale, born to end some war when your sword got big enough. But the gods would have had to agree on all your powers, so you get none.
They have no means of resolving creative differences, and that will be to our advantage. We will repurpose their abandoned creations to our vision. The old pro is buttering us up to be the next visionary, like Ishmael is doing to Coda, but he is not leveraging power over us. We are not so naive. Ours will be a healthier relationship.
The gods have promised that they'll tie off this story in a neat little bow. Everyone will confront a demon, learn a hard-won lesson, and complete an arc. But that's a crock. As evidence, I submit the gods themselves. Watch them long enough and you'll see. People don't arc. They loop.
I don't agree with his cynicism. I've seen people change, for better, for worse. But of course, when your whole world is inside a circle, so will your thinking be circular.
Maze, can we talk about the motion cameras? these headsets, given what you're asking me to accomplish, it's risky to speak freely into so many mics.
Yeah, you learn to unsee them. The whole office is wired up. Everything you do or say here is considered content that we own, in case it's genius.
It is. So, that's why you have to get fired. Contractually, the company cedes control of your likeness, your voice.
But if I just quit before we ship, haha, they keep the rights. Anyway, don't sweat the mics. At TMC, assume the spectrum runs from total indifference to total incompetence. Nobody actually checks the recordings, and my plan gets me fired before they come into play.
I can't speak for the industry back in 2015, but now, office spaces can be assumed to be little surveillance states. Say nothing in correspondences that you'd fear getting back to your manager or HR. Laziness and incompetence on their part notwithstanding.
Ooh, yeah. That stupid cinematic is glitched again. You're stuck behind widescreen bars until you hard quit. Tell you what, though. As a gesture of good faith, I'll just break you out of story jail. There. Now imagine being stuck in that cutscene for 10 actual years. That's my life here. When my gameplay's too rough for his story Bible, Ish tears the controls right out of my hands. But I think you can help me get fired. I'm guessing you hacked in. Good. This game is broken, right? So exploit it. Abuse it. Make it chase you on a leash. I'll be watching.
So the old pro isn't the only one who wants something from us, it seems. Maze 2 has her own agenda, and we are central to it. Much like this hole that's central to this village, which leads us to... Wait, what? There's nothing here, except a doorway to a spaceship? Now, in my days as a QA tester, I've found strange things that devs have left out of bounds, but a whole other game? That's ridiculous. It looks far more complete than their current project too. I wonder why it's abandoned.
In my day, the gods were cocky. Figured they could handle more than one hero. See that elevator door? It won't open for just you.
Oh. Yeah, I don't trust these guys to head working multiplayer. This seems to be an homage to the System Shock games. The ambience is very distinct. And these corpses will make a fine alternative to our ugly dogs. Time to free our imprisoned friend, the old pro, using his unfinished character editor. Switching him to female lets us embody him, taking not just his implants, but his retro arm with them. Is this somehow a commentary on gender in games? Maybe. Perhaps the male model was the assumed default, while the female was an afterthought. Thus, we must assume the female model, as per our role as QA testers, to explore the overlooked. A tester who fails to take all perspectives will inevitably miss obvious errors. Anyways, this new tool will let us set waypoints, sending our ugly dogs forward like Pikmin. Or in our case, like a second player, we just need to stand on a button.
I knew it.
Now, we could befriend this robot to open doors for us, but around this time, my plan started coming together. Let's just put every modified ability on our walking corpses, leave the ugly dogs behind, and have the undead do our bidding.
10 years. We've all aged 10 years hitting beta. We're down to minor fixes. So as project director, the most valuable thing I can do now is to record, you guessed it, creator commentary. But first, scotch. Indulge me in a toast to the team. The sad tale of the space station Limita and its fateful encounter with the Circle is all of our baby. Here's to you.
They were nearly finished the game. It wasn't an impossible feature that ended it. Perhaps it was sabotage?
Coda, you are not capturing video of this. This is not the plan.
The fans deserve to see the truth. Someone brought the old sci-fi version back, and now we know. It was finished and you both canceled it.
Ish cut multiplayer.
That would do it. Cutting a core feature that late in production would destroy any project.
Ish signed my brand over to you?
Never even asked why. We are your only way out now. After this is done, we have a new demo plan for you. Till then, stay in your room and think about what you've done. We still love you, we just expected more.
And Coda too is making moves. Everyone here has their own agenda, but she is the first who's unaware of us, and our goal will be to get her.
Errick, I got your note about the testers getting stuck up here and not knowing how to get down. I'm pretty sure my solution has the clarity you requested. God forbid anyone have to look around at the art.
Scape, the player isn't your enemy, you know. I'm not either.
Sorry, Errick. I know that that's not fair. I think this endless march is getting to me. I'll replace it with something real soon. I just needed to vent.
No problem. Of course, the clarity there is good, so whatever you do, try not to lose that.
Huh. Never mind. It's staying. Although I might not.
I said before that player attention is something developers can control for, and I stand by it in the previous examples, but other times, the player just doesn't get it. What seems obvious from the perspective of the developer would never occur to someone in the player's perspective. And you just want to grab them and scream in their face like a cat who keeps sitting on your keyboard. The trick and the challenge, however, is doing so without the player ever finding out.
Maze, can you watch over my shoulder as I set up my first creature? I want this howler to track the juggo by scent, flank it, and then pounce.
Just set the howler to hate the hero.
No! I mean, some of them should if they get hungry, but global kill on sight lacks a certain ecological truth.
Trust me, you set 2 creatures to fight, it's just Muppet sex, man. All impact, no joy. Looks terrible. But if the hero gets attacked directly, they've got no time to see the stupid.
What about downtime? Can I at least make them sleep? Or pee?
Just make them patrol in a loop. You want truth, Grasshopper? Watch what Ish actually does between meetings. You walk in a big enough circle, everyone you meet thinks you've got somewhere to be.
There is a truth to what Maze is saying here, but boy do I hate the way she says it. When making a game, what matters most is the player, their experience, and what they get out of it. A fully simulated ecology is wasted if it's not to the benefit of the player. See, in my own game, we are working on similar systems. Like and subscribe if you want to hear more about that. But for now, know that our goal is to give the player an ordered system to disrupt. To let them feel like they're actually causing chaos, that they can predict AI behavior by being observant and clever. Coda's goal here is to simulate systems because they are true of our world. A fool's errand. A digital world does not have to behave like ours. And it is the signature of an amateur in any creative field to seek a perfect replica of reality. That being said, Maze is wrong to think that the player would hate to watch 2 NPCs fight. Why else would I have built an army of undead? Up ahead, Ishmael will lament that this game will be his only legacy. This time, Coda eggs on his fanaticism.
My God, it's years. I'll be 61 in the fall, Coda. No family. For better or worse, this is what they'll remember me by.
Yes, exactly. On that demo stage, you have to make yourself believe again.
Long ago, I proposed a system that would generate unique offspring from player behavior. You could teach them like real children. The tech team said no.
This your baby. Tech will have to take the fake demo version as a challenge.
You know? Yes, damn it. Saying this aloud, how can the demo be about anything else? That crowd has to see a child born into our world, and love it as I do. To fear for its future as I do. What was it I said at the end of the original text adventure? By the time we understand our legacy...
It is too late to change it.
It's always tempting to see your creations as your children, but it's unwise. If you cannot view your work critically, it won't survive the critics. We must be ruthless to what we make, prune what doesn't work, and be open to its flaws. Not doing so is how we get Starfields.
Okay. I'm not sure who tuned the queen encounter, but her melee range is way longer than the player's sword, and her attack rate does not leave openings for any approach. Even Maze can't get near her without getting insta-killed, as her damage was set ridiculously high. This is a progress blocker. Please fix immediately. And maybe test without cheats before checking in your changes. Jim?
Another classic development blunder. Using cheats is useful for jumping around to new features that require attention, but only if you check afterwards that the game can still be progressed without these cheats. Back in my QA days, our whole floor would get chewed out if one of us was caught cheating. And, on the subject of balance, it's important to remember that those of us who've been working on the same game for months, years even, will find the game significantly easier than the average player. So it's good to test with players of varying skill levels to calibrate the difficulty. Anyways, we can't handle Insect Queen yet, and the world is open for us to explore. We faff around a bit more with the turtles. I don't like making this about me, but I got a little overwhelmed here. The map opened up before I really understood how to use the tools available to me. And that is a bit of an issue with the Magic Circle, not just the game it's about. But eventually we find more text.
Well, read my script. Thoughts?
It's a little safe. In Act 3, when Starfather returns from the dead, it feels cheap because nothing has changed. Respectfully, we've already solved this in fanfic.
Oh, that's a porn thing, isn't it? And I don't go in for that kind of...
Starfather should come back as a woman. For he hath known the shape of man and woman both. Your words.
This is surreal. You people know my world better than I do.
And if you run into a story problem, I can start a forum argument about it. They won't even know they're working for you, Starfather.
Tell me more about your dark art, my child.
Now, I'm not an expert on this. The only things I write are these scripts and my code. So, I asked my games writer, and they told me, taking from your fanfiction is precarious for two reasons. First, it denies the efforts of the fans. Co-opting their ideas for your own is plagiarous. Secondly, it strips your work of authorial intent. You are designing by committee, based on what the masses would find palatable, instead of something new with intentionality. We find an old audio log from Ishmael, where he realized he saw the player as his child, much as he now sees the game as his child. He has been seeking an artificial descendant for a very long time in a lot of places.
It's every room, you know. I remember for one of these hangers arguing on your behalf. No, he or she will want to see the sky. I guess the player has always been this unknowable, this radiant blank. I know how it sounds, but I think I started to regard you as my children. I can only hope that somewhere out there, one of you felt the same.
This creature really opened up my eyes to this game, a giant brain that swaps its internal features with its prey before it kills them, hopping from body to body, leaving a trail of corpses in its wake for me to reprogram. But anyways, it seems the old pro might have been fixing some bugs from the inside.
Darkest Hour stuff. Oh, we realized halfway through dev that we couldn't support a world this dense. We had out-of-memory errors, terrain holes. I was despondent, certain we'd have to cancel. But then one morning, as if by actual magic, they were gone. And look, I'm a highly public atheist, but damned if I didn't feel like something took pity on me. So here's to you, whoever you are.
And we find the imprisoned mushroom wizard. Every mushroom we've met so far has been allied to him, so this character has been well anticipated. Thus, we had better find his key. The flame traps really show off the power of the Cerebra. They kill any zombies or ourselves if we get too close, but the Cerebra can swap in from a distance. It just needs a little maintenance, as it will die right after the swap. In hindsight, just giving the Cerebra fireproofing would have fixed all my problems. Excluding our own weakness to fire, of course.
2 problems here. First, the key. It's only meant to become visible when the player uses the search skill, so for QA purposes, I added a temp erase button. Once proper RPG skills finally get implemented, testers can delete the key and retry searching at all skill levels. Second problem, the lava. Guys, it's easy. You place the art for the lava, then you place an invisible box-shaped trigger around it. When the player or creatures hit that box, it deals fire damage. But when your trigger box sticks out of the lava like this, it kills things inexplicably. The hero is supposed to watch a couple of hapless juggos plunge in and get burnt here, but thanks to you, they spawn dead. I am making misplaced triggers like this visible in-game until fixed. Maybe a public shaming will get you guys to check your work.
I like Errick. He thinks ahead about what tools would make QA's job easier. Every team needs people who have that mindset, especially towards the departments that often get ignored. That being said, I have known of workplaces where public shaming has become common practice. Be grateful if you've never had that experience, and my condolences if you have. Anyways, we fiddle with this lava trap for a while. It's a bit of a dead end for now. The lava trigger lacks collision, so even fireproof jugdillos can't stand on it. They just fall through. But it does give us inspiration to get across this lava river with some fireproof jugdillos. Maze explains that she wants us to hack into Coda's account, and she will give us Coda's job if we do.
Think about it.
We find some teleportation pads that are used here to move between spaceships, and are less complicated than they seem. Each one will swap the entity that stands on top of it to the next closest entity with teleportation, so we can change their destination by simply picking them up and tossing them around. Very handy.
So originally, the tractor beam was meant to safely guide in the spacecraft of any player not currently controlling the Pro, but then our design intern Maze here pointed out that you guys would have expected playable vehicles.
I told him, it's about precedent. It makes no sense to hoof it through miles of space station when you can jump in a shuttle and just hop from airlock to airlock. And from a multiplayer POV, think of the strategies that shake out of having one of your buddies in an armed spacecraft just outside.
Yes. So, as I'm sure you players know by now, I had to write it in that the shuttles only work for station personnel.
And actually, before we ship, we still need to meet on what to do with the tractor bot. I can schedule it. Super happy to keep advising you.
I'll call you about that. I'm sure I'll remember this.
This audio diary is incredibly real. There's a really fine balance between setting features that prime player expectation and the threat of scope creep that adding those new features represents. In my own game, we've had so many arguments about letting the player pick up weapons over this. I wanted to keep the player to just one gun that they customize over the course of the game, while our writer believed that the player should be able to pick up guns dropped by enemies. Until one brilliant team member settled it by just adding extra weapons. Shout out to Tony, you are the best. Anyways, this tractor beam creature seems pretty cool, but I don't recall ever finding a use for it. All I need is my Cerebra.
Oh, this question again? Can't we do another fan mail? Okay. You people honestly want to know why I set this story in space? After 2 years of trying for a child with my now ex-wife, it turned out I was, in fact, sterile! Yeah! Untreatable. And space is, in a word, universal. I could write about my empty nest, but in that same abyss, you'd see whatever you're afraid of. The sequel was my O2 low untethered spacewalk into nothing's orbit.
Confirming again with my writer, using creative pursuits as an outlet for personal trauma and grievances is healthy and leads to powerful art. But we can see how this leads to the Ish we know today, who is seeking every opportunity to find something he can call a child. I think his inability to finish his projects is what led him down this path. It's only an outlet if we let it out.
Yeah, okay. Let's try it again.
Errick, I want the name of the level drudge who put a flamer behind magic bars here and thought it'd behave. Do your people ever actually watch QA play the game? Everyone who comes in here misses whatever BS scripted scene is supposed to be sold in this zoo escape area, because by the time it starts, the flamer gets aggroed and the player's just a nuclear shadow on the wall halfway through a shrug. Anyway, I took out the fireburst attack. That solves the first half of your problem. After whatever space magic happens that makes the bars go away, don't expect this thing to do much.
I appreciate Maze for respecting QA like this, and she's right to neuter the flamers. These things would have been miserable to deal with if we didn't have the Cerebra. No good can come from them. I am not here to say what game these characters should have made, just observe flaws in the process. But here, the flame traps were a mistake. All I can say is, they should have been cut.
Maze, I'm sorry. I know you must have gone sleepless for weeks to do the scenario and gameplay rather than just lore. I guess you were having the player bring in a shuttle voluntarily only to see that it contains the last live worm, and finds that the guy heroically ejected himself while infected. Cool. But emergent behavior isn't inherently good. Building an ecology can lead to very real issues of supply and demand. Memory is already thin on the ground. We can't handle a creature that actually breeds. I'm afraid I had to cut the whole puzzle.
As long as we agree it was cool, I guess. But hey, speaking of memory, I accidentally duped the airlock button in here and deleted the extra, but it still shows up in my zone objects list, and when I try to restore the extra one to debug it, I get an out-of-memory error in the editor. That means there isn't enough memory in the game to bring it back, right? Is it okay to just ship it? It does exactly what the other one does, but players will never see it as far as I know.
Oh, Maze. Her rejection of simulated ecology came from a previous personal disappointment, when memory was more limited. But we are not so limited. If we can survive the vacuum of space, the hatchworm will be ours. Ishmael crashes out when he realizes his game can never be his child. It's an ephemeral idea, and it survives existing in the minds of people who never chose to carry his child. Do any of us choose to be children? Probably not.
God, but that's bullshit, isn't it? I mean, I don't know you at all. This isn't mutual. It's fucking test tube. I'm sorry. Guys, I'm sorry, but if I keep recording tonight, staring for another single second at this false world, I might just end it. So, the fort in the forest. The hero has managed to elude the savage Howler pack, right?
Minus any weapons.
But here he learns that they are an intelligent race, caged for generations by the villagers. The predatory behavior now is a rebellion. Sort of my Animal Farm take on the slave trade.
Oh man, if I tell you how dumb you sound, will you be too embarrassed to fire me?
Maze, please.
Look at the actual human population of your fantasy world. Want Coda to do a little diversity census on the whiteboard? Or, just leave it blank?
Oh. Coda, please tell the art guys that we need to talk about the townsfolk. Until then, let's revert to placeholder skins, please.
Ishmael's embarrassment is the reason we pursue diverse workplaces. Creatives should always strive to take from as many perspectives as possible. At the very least, it means doing research. When possible, it's preferable to actually put people from other backgrounds from yourself in creative positions so that they can catch these kind of things before you even have to ask. In my own case, we are making a cyberpunk game. A genre with a reputation for Orientalism and exoticizing of Asian cultures. To combat this, I'm prioritizing the creative input of our Asian team members to decide what is in bad taste and what is worth preserving. This audio log features Ish and Maze bringing in the head of HR to settle their differences. I don't have enough to say about it to play it in full, But that's Ken Levine talking.
To be candid with you, I'm excited. Video games seem like such fun.
Neat.
Coda, I'm going home. I may have fallen asleep in the lounge. Are you still working on the demo?
I need finished looking assets, and there's a whole deleted folder under colored sci-fi, but it's source locked by you and Maze. Would you mind restoring them?
Coda, that was the past. You're the future, okay? Speaking of, you know, it's high time you came out to have dinner at Starfall.
Your custom smart castle? Out in the woods? No. I mean, what?
I'm taking hours and hours of your time on this demo. It's an overdue courtesy.
I have always dreamt of seeing it. What shall I wear?
You'll see.
I don't think I need to say this, but if your boss invites you to a secluded castle in the woods, don't say yes. Ishmael doesn't strike me as a vampire or the next Patrick Bateman, but he will probably show you something sad and weird that'll make it difficult to come back to work the next day. Unless, of course, you're Coda, in which case it's more likely that you'll be drawn further into a cult, where the mystique of the company gives you a loyalty that you'll never escape. In any case, this is why we keep our work and personal lives separate. Anyways, it turns out that we've had the answer to the Hive Queen all along. And like usual, it's the Cerebra. We just need to reprogram it so it sees the Queen as an enemy, since she isn't our enemy by default. This gives us groupthink, which in theory could allow us to save resources by having a single corpse control the rest, and give us back our walking and melee attacks for other entities. But we don't really care about playing optimally, so we just reinstate the Queen as our friend, and take her insects for our own. Nor is our true reward the story Maze tells us.
All that's left is story.
Of how civilization was found by the first game, and then ruined by the first story. The real prize was learning how to take out the Sentinel, since it too was just a change of aggression for the Cerebra. I don't care much for this Sentinel, the way his legs stick out of his peripheral mouths. But he's out of the way, and his floating ability is handy for this rock, so we can continue to explore. And down this tunnel, we find our most important friend yet. The whirlybird can fly, putting it out of range of my traps. Oh, Securitron. Thank you. This flight will give us plenty of new navigational opportunities. But first, an important audio log.
Hello everyone. It's Saxon from HR again. I'm afraid this commentary seems to have devolved into an impromptu design meeting.
Maze, it's the end of the game. The hero is floating through the circle, meeting Starfather, their creator.
One of them is, say it with me, multiplayer. We also have a crouch animation. You're going to see it in screenshots, videos.
Then cut the crouch feature. I will not allow my hero to teabag God. How do you even teabag in a spacesuit? It makes no sense.
Skip it, Ish. You have a problem with player expression.
What expression? It's urinal graffiti. No, multiplayer is out.
My systems were designed like a dance. It doesn't work without a partner. If multiplayer is out, then I'm out too.
Maze? Maze?
Hello? Anyone? Guys, listen, as a mediator, I'm at a bit of a loss here. And I could get sued for saying this, but I think the two of you need to get very drunk together. Tonight.
None of this should be surprising by now, but still tragic to watch it crystallize. Maze wants to make something the players will enjoy, but might not be technically easy. Ishmael wants to make something narratively compelling, but requires limiting the player's expression to make them sit and watch. Saxon from HR needs to mediate, but he's new to the business. How could he find synthesis between these two? His solution is not a good one. But the question is as old as interactive media itself. You might as well ask him to solve general relativity. But with that, we can finally get the key to free the Mushroom Wizard by giving flight to our walking platforms.
Greetings, streamers. Your plucky heroine is making some poor choices for the cause. I need Ish to trust me, so I agreed to this dinner at his castle. But A, he said he's picked an outfit for me, so I'm recording this in case. And yet B, there are definitely other guests. I know when he was married, Ish and his wife were poly, so I am now walking through the woods, off the trail, hoping to not see an orgy before it sees me. Yes, those are cloaks. People are wearing cloaks. I'm going to have to outrun all of the murder sects in these shoes. But, if so, that's some jaunty music.
I'm glad to hear that Coda at least has the good sense to realize she's making a mistake, even if she's still making it.
Approach, Coda Solis. You will kneel a mortal and rise a child of eternity.
Look at her face. Did none of you tell her about the masks? For LARPers, y'all act like a frat. Coda, this is all a party for you. Ish is officially writing you into the story.
Just as I did when she became Ava Nadir.
Don't remind me. Woman, I thought you spoke nerd.
You did concept art of me? This spectacular cosplay armor is mine?
Of course. You are one of us now. Also, it comes with a pretty sweet crown.
But I have to finish the demo.
You have 70-something hours. That's a game dev year. Stick around. I heard there's supposed to be an orgy.
And so Coda is being set up to be the next maze. Perhaps this cycle would continue yet again, with a third iteration if we do not intervene. Speaking of intervening, it's time to interfere with Coda directly, using our flying Jugdillo and teleporter pads to bring the rest of the crew over. Or just have the whirlybirds kill her for me, and let the old pro take it from here.
What? Hello? Did I just get killed? I'm in God mode!
He will worm our way into Coda's computer, so she'll bring us with her to the E4 conference to show off the demo. We watch her adoring fans assemble said demo, right before the deadline, just so that the old pro can let us make the final touches. But before we can, Coda explains to Maze that her plan is to have Maze kill Ishmael's baby in the demo.
And when Ish asks for your fake baby to become the next Starfather, look him in the eye and put it to the sword. He'll quit in disgust and pass on the magic circle to me.
Thus, enraging the audience enough to demand a change in leadership with Coda in charge.
This will kill the game. Maybe all games.
Maze is concerned that killing a baby on stage will turn people off the game entirely, if not gaming as a whole.
I will teach you my game, but I don't think you would like it. It takes such a long time to play, and in the end, everyone wins.
I know you're there, whoever you are.
Pleading with us to disrupt Coda's plan.
Thing is, if I get to that baby, and it's my only option, just don't make me take it.
So while Ishmael gives his speech, we read one final message from Errick last.
Coda, before this procedural baby nonsense of yours, our demo was about the hero saving Starfather's life from Nadir's assassins. And you guys went pencils down on the new plan without asking me. Now, I see you talked him into letting Maze have a sword. And look, I'm not an idiot. Whatever you're planning, know that if Starfather's avatar is attacked and the local guard population is low, he'll spawn a huge wave of them to defend him. Who knows what that'll do to your frame rate, let alone the script. Point is, I wash my hands of you both.
Turns out he's also onto Coda, and he's taken his own initiative in stopping her purely for the reason of her not going through him first. And we can use this to our advantage. We get to work, first by reprogramming the guards against the player, and then by giving the baby flight and mind swapping. Shout out to any Messiah fans out there, let me know down below if you know what I'm talking about. That should do us. With our tampering and Errick's, the old pro has all he needs to disrupt Coda's plans.
Who did this? I saw that whole thing from the baby's eye view. I haven't laughed in 15 years. Thank you.
Or, so we thought. But this was just a diversion, to keep Maze busy, and by extension, us.
But please, allow me.
Coda? Are you Threatening me with a toy laser beam.
This is not a toy.
Her true goal was to show Ish that the fanbase has turned against him. That because they can emulate his original vision better than he can, that they deserve to inherit his work, to shape its canon as they see fit.
We have access to your sequel script, and right now, there exist 6 superior works of fan fiction. We now do a better job of writing like classic you than you do. We want the magic circle made public domain. Let us finish the game and release it for free. We are your fans. For 20 years, we supported you. We believed in you, and we deserved better. Now get the fuck out of our way!
If I've convinced you to play the game for yourself, now would be the moment to switch off. Let me know in the comments if you do, and see you again in 3 to 4 hours, because...
The second I step off this stage, the magic circle is yours.
Ish is willing to acquiesce, but not before addressing the one person you forgot was in the room.
And you... Yes, you... Whoever you are behind that screen, I know what you are now.
That's right. He has some choice words for the player, too.
You are that which plays us all.
About why we play games. For the feeling of control.
Because control is your opiate, my friend. And we got you hooked. Strung you out on the stuff for your entire waking lives.
For the feeling that we can overcome our challenges.
Be it the gritty reboot of Cops and Robbers, or the pansexual mystery hour, it was we who offered it.
But these challenges are only within our ability because men like him have built them to be completed.
But in truth, we just want an excuse to peddle a tame reality, a universe you can bring to heal. We tell you that, yes, you are the chosen one. Yes, you can achieve a perfect ratio of wins to losses. Yes, any problem of any scale can be solved with enough cash, time, energy. Any imbalance of power can be ushered into final equilibrium. And above all that, the world needs you to do it.
It's an illusion, one that he is here to break you out of if you've forgotten. And if you haven't, then it's only natural that the next step is to step into his role. Take on real challenges, ones that will be much more difficult, but much more rewarding, because they were not made to be beaten. There is no objective measure for well-made art, but the consequences for failure are very, very real.
But it was I who tempted you to take control, and now you have. So I lost the right to be shocked when over 20 years I announced some trivial change to my life's work, and you sent death threats to my door. What right do I have to cry foul now, when you rise up as one to simply solve me?
Now, if you have been paying attention, you'll have noticed the laser sights blinking out, one by one, as each fan accepts that they are not the target audience for this monologue. Like I said near the beginning, this game wasn't made to appeal to the fans of gaming. No, this game's audience is the rare individual who yearns to create something new. Something of their own.
They've all filed out. It's just you, me, and the invisible wall. Well then, you're in charge now.
It's a hard pill to swallow. Not one for the fans who feel entitled to his legacy because they have written so much fan fiction. The only thing left is to kill his feed.
Tell us how it all ends. Push the button! Come on, this is euthanasia now. Just hit that goddamn button.
Usher him out of the spotlight to let a new generation of creators take over.
I beg you, don't make me stand here alone, floating in this loveless vacuum, wondering when the final tether will snap. Please. Please. Just push the damn button. Push the button! Push the button.
At least, that is my interpretation of his speech. You are free to try the game for yourself to get your own conclusions. His words for the fan community he's grown contempt for are much more transparent.
Hear this, Coda, and your so-called fan community. As of now, the Magic Circle is open source. Anyone who wishes to contribute to its development may enter and do so. But before I go, I have a new game for you. The rules are easy to learn, for they are an exact mirror of reality. The electric bill strikes in less than 1 week from today. It pays for those servers, without which our tools just don't work. So, unless one of you generates a playable experience by then, and sells that game for enough to pay that bill, it all goes dark, kids. The first person to ship a game wins, and will retain creative approval on all future titles. See, there's always a sequel. You will, in effect, have my job. I would say have fun with that, but I think you've had quite enough. Coda, all yours.
And yet, his challenge to them is a trick. They are still thinking within the bounds of a game, so it becomes a competition.
No, don't you see? We've already won! There's no contest, you don't have to compete! That's what he wants! Can't you see? Damn it, stop playing around! You don't understand! It's not just a game anymore! It's not just a
game! And these freaks wouldn't trust them to finish a sentence. Gotta be you. Get out of here. Find a safe place to build. Shut it all down!
But we can see beyond those boundaries now. We are able to shift into the role of creator. Our goal is to make the Magic Circle something of our own. First, we set down our map layout. I didn't really know what I was doing with this, so I apologize for the slapdash effort. In my own game, I have more architecturally minded people to build the buildings. My speciality is deciding what goes in them. But we place our last tile, and are assessed on how much we explored the game that came before. Every note, every audio log, they all tally up to give us more memory to make our game with. And this is the part I specialize in, so it shouldn't be too hard, right? Let's begin by looking over our tools. We have every creature we found, waypoints to set them to patrol, treasure chests to lure the player, healing potions, music, and signs and statues to write plot on. It's not exactly Unity, but we'll make do. Let's go over my process step by step. Every story begins with a call to action. We never got to show off the space parasite we worked so hard to acquire as a hero, so let's make it our villain. Next, we want to add a treasure to justify this alcove, and some rats as an introduction to combat. We can edit them like before, but this time we aren't limited. We can give any property to any creature. Let's keep things simple for now. In the next room, we can add a health potion in case the player took a beating, and a more complicated challenge in some zombies on a staircase. It's important to progressively escalate combat and reward the player throughout. But wait, we put two identical rooms back to back. We could iterate on the challenge, have the player repeat the last zombie challenge, but make it more complicated. But I have a better idea. Instead, we will add the exact same zombies to the second room, then replace them in the first room with friendly guards. Now the player will have some support, so we can raise the challenge ahead, and they will feel like their cause is just. The people have come to lend their blades. We can place a story trigger between the two rooms to threaten the player. The Leech Lich has sent them into a darker future, one where they have lost and their new allies have been reduced to shambling hordes. Like in Ocarina of Time. Now, by the time the players get through all that, they should be pretty experienced. And this room looks like a good base to test out the patrol waypoints. It's still the dark future, so let's add a Securitron up ahead that the player has room to sneak around, but we can at least give them a sign so that they'll know to realize combat isn't their only option. Looking ahead, we have quite a few rooms left, and we are running out of memory. Let's get the essentials down before anything else. Can't have a plot to defeat the Leech Lich without a Leech Lich at the end. Let's give him flying to be more intimidating, and a sign so that he can taunt the player. Now, we still have several empty rooms left over, and story-wise, we are still trapped in the dark future. We can use the teleporter pad to jump ahead and bring the player back to the past, a final goodbye gift from Starfather. Now that we have a better idea of how much ground we have left to cover, let's give our villain a few whirlybirds for extra intimidation. And a health potion, in case the hero is still dinged up from before. Can't have them fight the final boss with barely any health left. Wait, what do you mean not enough life? Are we already out of memory? And we haven't even filled this room. Okay, so, no healing potion, but a friendly mushroom wizard will require less life, and will protect the player. That should be good enough, right? And another sign to explain why he's here. That should do us. Let's test it out.
Huh. Okay. I feel almost motivated now. Look at you, going above and beyond. Is this fun? Am I having fun? New best friend. Fight hard and die for me before this gets weird. Let's dance. Hey, I ain't seen that yet. Nice. Ow. Okay.
Our patrolling Securitron has a longer patrol route than we thought. Killing the player before they've even done with the zombies. Let's change that to a harmless repulsor. That way it's still an obstacle to overcome, without the risk of death. That's much better. Looks visceral, but they aren't actually going to die. What's this? Those weren't supposed to be hostile. And the mushroom wizard was not enough. Back to the drawing board. First of all, why are these teleporter pads hostile and able to move? Let's change that. You will teleport the player and do nothing else. And for the final encounter, our trusty Cerebra will do the trick. Along with removing a couple whirlybirds for good measure, and that should do it.
Hey, a buddy. Nice. But FYI, I'm keeping all the gold.
Great. It's beatable.
I'm gonna score your work like a real reviewer. 7 out of 10.
And with the same score IGN gives every game. But is that it? No. We can do better. We deserve better. We are not some paint-by-numbers shovelware developer. We're an artist, damn it. Again. Now, let's see. What the public wants is a game that entertains them. So let's move this health potion forward so that they don't get bored on their trek back to it. It's not like they care about optional branches anyways. Who cares about exploration? If it's not handed to you, how could we even be sure you'll find it? If it's not contributing to the reviewer's final score, then it was a waste of memory in the first place. Now what do you think of that, pro?
Well done. I say ship it. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? Only 8 out of 10? No. I won't accept anything less than a 9. Again. Same principle as before. This treasure chest. We will put it at the end. A final reward for finishing the game. And while we are at it, tests show this empty room is boring. The player doesn't care to see that they've traveled back to the present. The path ahead empty, now that their friends are by their side. No. Take this plot away and add a rat to it. Run it. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Remember when I said sometimes you want to grab the player and shake them? This is what I'm talking about. So first, we will move the exit teleport like so. Now the player won't get stuck in a time loop if they miss the first one. And then, move the entrance teleporter to where the players now decide to path. Foolproof. How did you even get behind that sign? Get out of there. We passed by the teleporter again? I just moved it for you. Again. First of all, let's give this zombie a tractor beam. Does that make sense? Who cares? It will pull the player towards the action quicker, spending less time being bored with it. And let's move the teleporter one more time for good measure. And hope that the player will understand it was made for them. And finally, move this sign into the wall. Can't risk the player looking funny at the complex geometry. 7? 7? What do you mean 7? That was my best work yet. You were the one who didn't go into the time portal, not I. Okay, one more portal replacement and... The Cerebra is a worm now? Can they do that? How are you getting bored mid-combat? What are you? Let's just move this sign in front of the encounter like this. And, you died to the rats in the first room this time. I'm not going to change that. No. We are going to just repeat this, and if you can't handle basic tasks anymore, then we're just going to have to live with it. Good job. You made it to the teleporter this time. See?
I can finally call you boss and actually mean it!
This is what happens when you stick to my vision. We get results.
9 out of 10! Bravo!
Anyways, I'm happy with this result. We will be shipping it. But first, let's take a moment here, you and I. Since I'm not an actor, it's probably not particularly surprising that my frustration is facetious. But I hope I've managed to impart the difficult balance a developer has to manage between our artistic ambitions and the need to make a product that is approachable and appealing to a large enough audience to keep the lights on. I've been pretty critical of Ish and co throughout, but it comes from a place of sympathy. His problems are my problems. I just have the benefit of hindsight. With that, let's finally let the old pro go. This whole time, we've been talking about how to design a game, but another huge part of the process is managing the team. And look at the time. I'd love to help you with that, but I have to go. Bye!
Hey! Congratulations on the release of Episode 1! Which is, I guess, what you call an unfinished thing people pay for? So yeah, you kept the lights on, and against my better judgment, this is me deciding to work for you. I'm opening your channel. Your new team has some questions.
Hey, so new boss. Cool. This is Scape, the art director, and I just was wondering, what's our plan now for color schemes? Hey, so, listen, I wanted to clarify with you whether or not we're actually going after a multiplayer solution.
Look, whatever you do, don't add multiplayer. Our analysts predict that the 24th century is going to be all about your vision, your return on your investment.
Totally help us to find me as well. Listen, the leader cyber time goes to
If you've made it this far, thank you. And a big thank you to my friends who've graciously sent me audio recordings of the text documents. I'm supposed to now ask you to like and subscribe, but instead, why don't you tell me in the comments what creative projects you've been struggling to complete? Maybe we can encourage each other to finally finish them. Until later, I have more code to write.